All right, here we go. There we go. All right, we got flipped over. So tonight, so there's a Pioneer tournament this weekend at our local store here in Tennessee. Well, one of our local stores. It's not like my local store, but a store that somebody opened up recently, and we're gonna play this weekend. And this is what I'm gonna play. This is the exact list I'm gonna play, unless something crazy happens and something needs to be changed. I doubt it though. So tonight we're going to be playing Rakdos, Pyromancer, Arcanist kind of thing. This is the list that I've been playing. This is the list that I like. It's very versatile. It's very good. I really like it a lot, if I'm being honest. Like, it really fits a lot of the boxes that I like. And I was a pretty big fan of the deck, honestly. I definitely play that again. You just get some better cards like Unearth and Inquisition and stuff like that. So, hi and good luck. We'll keep this. This hand's good. Our opponent keeps 7, no companion. Ooh, claim to fame. All right. Really like Stitcher Supplier. Great hand. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good start to the game here. Interesting. We have pathways and we're playing game trails. Very intrigued by that. So, let's see here. We're going to attack and see what they do. And then we're going to play Pyromancer here because next turn we can play Croxa and Village Rites in the same turn, which I'm a pretty big fan of. So we know they have a mountain in their hand. Wonder what this is. Is this Burning Tree Emissary? Yep. Is this like well, no, there's no way it's Mono Green Planeswalkers. They wouldn't be playing a mountain. Stomp. Okay. Play Dragon Skull Summit. Play Croxa. Need to put that one on the stack first. Yeah, I had to remember which one it was. So they get to discard, and then we get to Village Rites, which is awesome in my opinion. They discard Gruul Spellbreaker. Or maybe we should just wait and block. Maybe there's some value to waiting and blocking and Village Rites the Stitcher Supplier. Yeah, I'm actually a bigger fan of that. We're putting more cards in our graveyard. So this is Gruul aggro. This feels like just like a new copy, like a different version of the historic deck. That's big sad. I mean, understandable to play Skoos in your deck, but still big sad. So now we can block and Village Rite. Oh, interesting. I think we're still going to Village Rites here. And there's 3 Croxes left in the deck, so it's like hitting one would be insane. All right. That's a bummer. Yeah, the Skoos is pretty bad for us there. Okay, so we get to play Dreadhorde Arcanist. We get to play Claim to Fame, and then we get to attack and Bloodchief's Thirst the Skoos, which is ultimately gonna, I think, let us Bloodchief's Thirst. Okay. Hit this. Getting Scoos off the field allows us to be able to like really like get our Croaks into play, which I really feel like is how we're gonna like is gonna be like a big avenue to us winning here. Cinderglade. Wow, my man is that is a land base if I've ever seen one. Play the Bone Crusher Giant. Okay. So let's fetch a mountain here. So we're gonna play Pyromancer, and then we're gonna play Croxa. We're gonna let them discard first. They discard Bushwhacker. We're gonna sack this, and then we get to make a token this way and put some more cards in our hand. Um, this feels pretty solid. There's a bunch of Fatal Pushes in our deck we'd really like to draw. It's a weird choice of lands. Oh yeah, like the Cinderglade and the Game Trail. I'm not gonna lie, like it feels like they're trying too hard. Like I don't know like what all their deck consists of, but it feels like they're trying pretty hard with the lands here. So like Cinderglade feels like a little much. Like the pathway is really good, and then like honestly, like I is this another Scoos? Wow, bro. All right, man. You've either gotten lucky and like pilled the second one, or you've just sandbagged that the whole time. Well, I think we'll put Lyris into our hand, play an Arcanist, and say go. Them having double Scoos here has been really bad for us. Yeah, the second ooze is pretty bad, honestly. Like, yep, beat our Pyromancer. Arzu, how are you tonight, buddy? Appreciate you coming back and checking out the stream. You having a good day, man? That's 5 mana. I mean, they could have like a Glorybringer in their hand. It's hard to say. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna take 4 here. Don't really, it's a good day. Hey, that's good, man. I'm glad to hear it. Don't really see the need to block here. So there's lots of really good draws here that we could have, but we just keep kind of bricking. Think I was just gonna Rocky League and dip. I'm back. Well, thanks for coming back and hanging out, man. I'm still surprised with the coincidence with the raid. Yeah, man, that was hilarious. When you said that last night, I was like, "What?" That was crazy that I picked up that I tried to that I raided somebody that you know last night. That was that was actually wild. So I'm going to be honest. With them having double green here, we can't attack with either of our Arcanists because they can just pick off both of our spells. So, so they are playing Collected Company. Wow, this is a deck. It appears we're going to lose off the back of main deck Scavenging Ooze. They're probably running 4 Scavenging Ooze in the main, honestly. Gruul aggro with Company, yeah. Usually 2 to 4 scoos. All right. That's interesting to know. All right. So we're going to block there. Got some decks since last night, but no IRL play. Dude, honestly, like I feel that. Like it is like really tough to find places to play like in real life. It is like a real struggle, honestly, to be able to do something like that. I was actually we've had a couple tournaments like our the guy that runs our shop, our local shop that we play at is like has had a few like has just like put a couple tournaments up just to like have something to do. And so that's actually been kind of nice, but I've only played like two rounds of paper magic. All right, Dreadhorde Arcanist number 3 is not going to do it. All right, we're going to concede here. That was, man, we'd have killed for a fatal push. Yeah, we'd have really liked to have had a fatal push right there. All right. So feed the swarm seems good. Well, so I don't like probably want some number of magma sprays. I don't know if we want all 4 of them, honestly. Seems a little like loose to bring in all those cards. So we'll cut a claim to fame, and we'll probably cut the K commands. They don't really do anything. So I think we'll try it like this. See what happens. But yeah, man, it's really sucked not being able to play Paper Magic the last like year and a half. It's been tough, honestly. Did Richard find the stuff? I so he never let me know if he found the stuff. I'm gonna message him tonight. And if he didn't find the stuff, all of this testing is for naught. So, but I mean, well, we can't beat Cloythus, so we're gonna take it. But at least I got time to buy a few cards each month and finish some decks. Yeah, I mean, I was like, that is actually pretty sweet. Like this has like allowed me to like have like quite a bit of time to like build up my collection, and I have really enjoyed that, honestly. So I think we need to take the turn off and play like and not kill anything and play Arcanist here. Um, I think playing Arcanist here is better than like playing a single removal spell. Let me know what you need, and I might have some of it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't. Richard said he had most of it, so I'll see if he's able to finish it, and if he is, that would be cool. So this is actually a pretty sweet play here. Um, we get to play Croxa. Our opponent discards Forest. Cast with mana cost 4 or less. Fatal push this, and then we get to attack and Thoughtseize our opponent here, and see what they're working with. Anger of the Gods in 2 lands. Okay, well, nice. Croaks to trigger Revolt and recast Thought. Yeah, see, man, I was like, yeah, you're like reading my mind right now, honestly. The gone opponent's hand. Yeah, honestly, the fact that that was his leftovers is awesome. So I think that signifies that he. Yeah, I think that signifies that he drew another land. This is pretty sweet. Stitcher Supplier is a good draw step. I'm actually just gonna attack for 1 here and not cast anything. Could Fatal Push the elf, but he has a 4th land, so it's not like we're keeping him off of company or anything. And then we'll put Luris into our hand after combat. And we'll say go. And if he attacks with his elf, we're just going to snap block. Like this. That's an easy block in my opinion. So we know he has a land and something else in his hand. Like I get you want to play your Rootbound Crag, but it seems wrong to play cards that I know about. Or that I don't know about. Alright, our opponent concedes. Okay, cool. Cool. So based on that game, Magma Spray can be good, but doesn't seem great. Dreadbore seems like an all-star here, honestly. I think we're just gonna leave it the way that it is. I think we need to have some combination of cards like we did that game to be able to win. Terminate and Pioneer? No, Terminate's not in Pioneer, man. That would be a sweet addition to this deck if we had Terminate. So I think we're gonna like this hand's really good. My only concern is that we don't have a black source on turn 1 for the Fatal Push, but I think we'll try this anyway. Um, our opponent mulligans to 6, so if we peel a black source here, we're in good shape. They didn't actually play an elf. Interesting. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and play our mountain and say go. All right, our opponent saying go is interesting. This feels like they have a stomp here. K command is right. Yeah, K command's in this format. I think we'll run it out actually, just to like get the stomp out of their hand this way, and then like if their play is to next turn play that, we can we have some options at least. So their play was to say go. All right, their hand has to be banking off the back of Collected Company here. Yeah, 100% stomp. Yeah, I would have thought that too. I'm extremely surprised they didn't. So Gruul Spellbreaker. Okay, well the good news is that we can Fatal Push 1 and we can Dreadbore the other. So we get to make some tokens this way. And then next turn, our worst play is Pyromancer into Village Rites on one of the tokens. So I mean that feels pretty good. Feels like if nothing else, we can pretty much block infinitely, which I'm a big fan of. So I was like, if they say go, then we know that they have Collected Company. Llanowar Elf, okay, sure. So we're gonna play our young Pyromancer. We're gonna play Swamp. I'm actually willing to make this trade just because it keeps stuff off the board. The young Flame God. What? Yep, sack a creature. Make 2 more tokens, which means we pretty much get to block infinitely here, which is really good. Draw something good? I guess that's fine. I mean, it's not great. Now we're just kind of holding out here for another Village Rites. Honestly, might Village Rites at the end of the turn, just because we have a good chance of drawing into something. Scoos, okay. I mean, he's got a few creatures to eat, but put a counter on that thing. Yep, you bet, dude. So, I mean, this is a free block because we're going to play our Village Rites anyway. Sack this. Be different if it has trample. I mean, sometimes you get into a weird spot with these kind of matchups because they get trample and you can't always block. Dreadbore is a good pickup. So, oh, let's see here. Our opponent's got 1 card in hand, so we get to Dreadbore this, then we get to play our Arcanist. I would have liked to have played. I mean, getting the Pyromancer down to be able to do stuff with it would have been cool, but it is what it is. Okay. Yep, you go to 18, and then you're going to take 5 and go to 13, and then we're going to play Dreadhorde Arcanist, which feels pretty good. Just whenever a non-human creature enters the battlefield? That's what I thought. I got blown out by that card one too many times during Standard to not know what that card does. When young Pyromancer goes unchecked like this for so many turns, like it's just it's just so hard for your opponent to like keep up. As quickly as he attacked there, this feels like Anger of the Gods. Okay. Interesting. Probably a collected company here if I had to guess. So some part of me is going to get really greedy here and go for the Village Rites play, which is insanely greedy, but we're going to do it. We want to save our removal spell for something more important than this thing. Yep. Cast it. Target this. And it makes 2 more tokens, which is insane. We'd really like to draw some like removal spells here. This feels like Collected Company. Feed the Swarm is a good one. Oh, I was like, yeah, this has to be Collected Company here. Sucks that none of it was at instant speed, but that's okay. We can feed the Swarm whatever is the most of a threat after combat. They don't have anything to pay, which is pretty good for us. And then after this, we can actually play Dreadhorde Arcanist number 2 and feed the Swarm. Gonna play it on the old growth troll just because it's the same amount of damage no matter what we do. Based off their mana cost, it's the same damage. And also we take less damage off of the Bone Crusher Giant. Plus the old growth troll has trample. Play that. And we just kind of can't beat trample. Like trample is like the one way they get out of this game, because we have enough tokens to block until the end of time. So Enchanted Forest. Yeah, it taps for double green or does some other garbage. Like it makes a, I think for like 1 mana and tap it and sacrifice it, you make a 4/4 with trample. So I mean, like they kind of get the same thing, but they're forced to spend their mana to do that. Coloithus is a pretty good one. So is less than 7. So killing the Wildborn Preserver with Fatal Push actually does do the job there. So I'm going to be honest, I don't really know if we want a Thoughtseize here. I don't feel like Thoughtseizing is necessary. We're going to go ahead and fetch. We're going to get a Swamp. I'd use. All right, well, I'll use it then. I like that. Might as well. I mean, I guess they could have like a company or something in their hand. I think Fatal Pushing the Bone Crusher Giant. Yeah, it actually is. I fetched with the Fabled Passage. I wasn't even thinking about that, but I did. I fetched with Fabled Passage. Um, so that leaves them with only one blocker. They're going to block the Arcanist, take 5. We're gonna go ahead and Thoughtseize. I like the idea of go ahead and playing it. Plus, it puts more tokens on the field. We're really just trying to like end the game as quickly as. Wow. All right. Good call. Good call on using the on using the Thoughtseize. So I know I don't get any immediate value off of it, but I'm really just trying to end the game here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and run out my Lurrus. God, we've used so much of our clock. And to be fair, we are winning. I don't really care to use clock as long as I'm winning. That's a good draw step. I can live with that. You know, the sad part is that they could almost kill us. They attack out. We're just going to block with a token. We're going to put a token on the Wildborn Preserver and just take Coloithus if they attack out. So if they go, can they do this at instant speed? So they can have 4 blockers, which puts them take. Oh, that's just, it's kind of disappointing. All right, our opponent concedes. I can't blame them. Oh, it enters tapped? Well, that was a good start to the league. We are 1-0 with Rakdos Pyromancer. Hi and good luck, opponent. Yep, Sholurus. We who aren't playing can see things with less pressure. See, it's funny that like you say that because like I always laugh about that because it is like so true how much like you see from outside the game as opposed to when you're playing. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think we can keep this hand. If we had another creature, I'd probably think about it, but this hand seems a little slow. This hand seems a lot better. We'll keep this and put a Stitcher Supplier on the bottom. That way we have a well-rounded hand. We're going to lead on Fetch Shock Thoughtseize just to see what they're working with. Oh, thanks, baby. All right. 3 lands, Binding of the Old Gods, Assassin's Trophy, Extinction Event, Sylvan Caryatid. I think I'm going to take the Sylvan Caryatid. The other line of play here is to take the Extinction Event, but they already have removal spells, so we're just going to let them keep their removal and say go and see what happens here. Plays Ketria Triome. Is Ketria Triome, yep. Stitcher Supplier. Say go. It's not going to be anything to Fatal Push. It ramps and blocks. Yeah, I mean, it feels like the obvious choice there, like with the way the rest of their hand is set up. Ooh, Shocks in Watery Grave. Interesting. So, I think I'm gonna Village Rites here. We're gonna get a turning on our graveyard. Yeah, they're definitely trying to turn on their trophy. Another Thoughtseize is pretty good. We'd like to hit a third land here. Another removal spell is not great. So we can claim the young Pyromancer, and we can Thoughtseize them. And then that leaves us Fame later if we need it. See how they respond here. Interested to see if they actually trophy this. Or if they drew like an Abrupt Decay or a Fatal Push or something. They are going to trophy that. Okay. Yeah, we'll use this to take a swamp. So we get to do that. Oh. Alright, we're definitely going to take Bring to Light here. I'd rather play against their removal spells and force them to draw something. Because if they're forced to like draw something to like get out of the, like, they actually have to win the game. Like, they can have all the removal spells they want, but they have to win the game at some point. Claim to Fame would be a good draw step right here. Wow. Ask and you shall receive. So we're gonna claim Dreadhorde Arcanist because we know there's one card in their hand we don't know about. The extra land is welcome at least. Yeah, absolutely. And we get to Fame this to try and rush in, and then we get to Thoughtseize them here. We get to crack in for 4 and Thoughtseize them, which is pretty sweet. Being able to Extinction Event, Binding of the Old Gods. And they take 4. Like, the sad part is that we've Thoughtseized our opponent's hand to death and that it's still not bad. Island. Probably going to play Binding here if I had to guess. And they could have just played Extinction Event and named Even, but they get to destroy Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe they're holding out for Extinction Event for something better later. We know that it doesn't matter with the way that our hand's set up if we have Swamp or not, but we might as well act like we could make something happen. Everyone plays the troll. Am I missing something? Or is it new factor? So I mean it might it might honestly be partially due to new factor, but I mean the card's not bad. It's a 3 mana 4/4 with trample that when it dies, it makes your lands produce more and creates another body. So I mean, I think the card's pretty good. They get to get a forest here. It's a great new green beater. Yeah, card is good. And it's kind of recursive with some ramp. There are a lot of good. I mean, there are a lot of good green 3 drops. Just also think that card's really good. Just like Niv. Bring to light? My god. Ugh, it's the thing I hate most in this world is Bring to light. I mean, the good news is that we can at least um uh Dreadhorde Arcanist and an Assassin's Trophy. The good news is that we can at least Blood Chief's Thirst this thing. Because their only card is Extinction Event. Alright. I think we're just going to kill this and force them to draw out of it. Blood Chief, that can't stay one more turn. Yeah, that is one thing that the weird, wacky modern period where like everybody was putting that into play on turn 2 or turn 3 taught me is that you cannot let Tibalt stay on the field. I would have loved to have claimed Dreadhorde Arcanist back and famed and thought seized them, but all right, he's gonna play our Dreadhorde Arcanist, and he can play our trophy his trophy whenever he wants to. The good news is that we get to push this anytime we want to. So we're gonna claim to fame our young Pyromancer. We're gonna fatal push this. We're gonna fame the token here. I mean, I don't care to lose this to an Assassin's Trophy, so. Plus, we're gonna crack in for 4 here. Now, granted, I know that they have the Extinction Event, but if we draw an untapped land, we're able to just play Luris and then play into Arcanist, which I really like. Or we're able to just play Luris and then play Fame, play the back half of Claim to Fame to get in for 5, so feels like a decent spot. Omnath? Okay. I mean, yeah, you gain 8, which is fine. Interesting. What are you using my PayPal for? What is it? Oh, the one you were talking about? Oh, okay, yeah. And I need more points. So let's lead on Thoughtseize and see what they do. They have that Assassin's Trophy that they can play, which we can't Thoughtseize. Like, we can't do anything with that. Take the Extinction event, which is good. Means that we're not just like straight up losing to it next turn. Now we can Village Rights the new token we made. Good thing push kills that thing. Yeah, honestly, like that's great. Like we get to draw 2 cards and push is like relevant here. So now we get to push this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're gonna be short a point, but actually no, we're not. It's exactly 8. Wow, that's exactly lethal. Except he has that trophy. Forgot about that. Yeah, we're gonna use this. We're gonna get a mountain. Fame one of the tokens, so we get to get in for 3, 4, 5, 6. Put our opponent to 2, and they only have a clifftop retreat in hand. Our opponent concedes. All right, interesting. Croxo is going to be a sweet draw. Okay, so here we want Necromentia, and we want Duress. So Claim to Fame seems great. Dreadbore seems really good here. This seems like a really bad Fatal Push matchup. Blood Chief's Thirst seems like it has some value because it can pick off things like Tybalt, and it can pick off other random things. We don't want Feed the Swarm, I don't think. We don't want Shocks or Magma Sprays. I don't think we want another K command. I think 2's fine. Being able to return something and make them discard seems okay. And then Soul Guide Lantern seems medium. Like Soul Guide Lantern seems like it just cycles there, so I think we're gonna try it like this. This feels pretty solid, so we'll try this and see what happens. Not gonna lie, I'm a little surprised we won that game. It felt like the Bring to Light was really gonna like do us in. I'm so used to like Bring to Light just ending the game on the spot. So this hand doesn't seem great, but our opponent's mulliganed and we have double Croxa, so I'm gonna try this. It's a little greedy, but having Claim to Fame, like this feels like a very discard heavy hand, so I'm interested in trying this. Plus our opponent's already mulliganed, which makes me like the discard effects more. I think they missed red for Niv when they use Bring to Light. Oh, okay, I gotcha. We don't have anything, so we're just gonna play the Dragon Skull Summit. I like to bluff, but is carrieted. Okay. We get to play Croxa here, and they discard a card. And the next turn, depending on how many cards they have in their hand, we either have Croxa Village Rights or we have Croxa Claim Croxa back. So discard Clarion, okay. Ketria Triumph, waiting to pay costs. Alright, so we're just going to make them discard the last two cards in their hand. I'm going to make them pill off the top to beat us here. Our opponent discards. And if one of them's a land and we're able to get them this way, it actually works out pretty well for us because of, I mean, it's just it's free damage here. Yep, claim to fame, Croxa here. Croxa, however you say that. So, I mean, there's lots of really good draw steps in their deck. Wow, their 6 wasn't bad. That's a pretty good 6. But us putting them in a spot where they're forced to play off the top of their deck is pretty awesome for us. Not that it's guaranteed to win us the game, but so let's play Young Pyromancer. Let's do this to make them get rid of their card. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, there are instant speed things they could have here, but even if they do, I'm okay with them taking 3. Fatal Push is fine. So they go to 17 this way. And then depending on what they do next turn, we can just hold up K command, hit them, make them discard kind of thing. So honestly, Stitcher Supplier would be a bomb. We also need another land at some point, so gonna play the red side here. So we're gonna make them discard, and we're gonna get back Croxa, and the next turn we're gonna Croxa Village Rights. Okay, seems like a good play. So draw step. Turn target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Target player discards a card. Return this. Choose target player. Red. And if they have a removal spell that they cast at instant speed, we can just... I mean, you hate to waste discarding on a Sylvan Caryatid, but... So we sack this. We draw some cards. We play the Stitcher Supplier, which allows us to put more cards into the graveyard kind of as cannon fodder here. Hopefully they don't rip a bomb here. I mean, they could peel like a Bring to Light and just ruin our day. All right, they drew something that they want to use here. Black, red, land, a land. K command, rights, rights. So I have to have something with a trigger on the stack here. Like Abrupt Decay, Trophy. Trophy wouldn't be that bad if that's what they pilled. They do have some kind of removal spell here. Doll, Fatal Push, Sad Face. They still go to 11 here. I mean, like, the Croxa triggers are killing them slowly, so no point attacking. They just get to block. Even if they do peel, like, a Bring to Light and, like, hit something, I mean, Bring to Light would be bad because they get Shadow's Verdict. Okay, another land is good for us. So we get to Village Rights, the Stitcher Supplier. Put 3 cards into our graveyard. All right. Red, red, black, black. Get rid of 3 lands. Claim to Fame in this. Leave the Stitcher Supplier and other things. Getting to just recast Croxa here over and over again is just like I'm pretty sure every point of damage we've done to them has been with Croxa. We're just playing Croxa burn. That's all we're doing. Alright, another land. I mean, our opponent's like draws haven't been like completely horrible. We've just drawn better. So we're gonna play Young Pyromancer. We're gonna play Young Pyromancer number 2. We're gonna shock. We're gonna cast Claim to Fame on this bad boy, and we're gonna get in. Make a couple guys. I mean, they have the out of like everything on our board is even right now, so if they draw into Extinction Event here, we've got quite a game. Because we don't get to put anything into our graveyard for Croxa if that's the case, so we are over committing a little bit, but they're taking 4 and going to 1. That's interesting. I don't know what you would 3, 6, 7. I think Tybalt's 8, so I don't think that matters. Is Tybalt 7 or 8? Is Tybalt 7? If Tybalt's 7, that does matter. Alright. Match number 3. Alright, good luck. Our opponent has no companion, so it could be almost anything. But I think this hand's worth keeping. Has a lot of value in it, so hopefully our opponent's playing something that dies to removal spells. Spikefield Hazard, so they're playing Blue-Red Phoenix. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to shock here because the 2 points is worth being able to beat a Thing in the Ice. Even though I know that most of these decks have gone away from Thing in the Ice, I want to be able to beat Thing, like just kill Thing in the Ice right here if they play it. All right, interesting. We're just going to run out Croxa here. And then next turn, hopefully we draw a land so that we can play Young Pyromancer into Thoughtseize. He could have a Spikefield Hazard in his hand right here. Pioneer Poggers could just be mono red. Could be mono red. Could be mono red playing Spikefield Hazard, which you don't see very often, but it does come up every now and again. All right, definitely blue red Phoenix. They throw a possibility, discarding Phoenix, and then discard Quicken to the Kroxa. So our 3 Soul Guide Lanterns are going to be good here. Beating all of the... Puts 1 card on the bottom. Oh, do we just have 3 1-drops here? Yeah, all right. Let's go. Yeah. Put me to 11. Get in there. I like it. So they don't play that much burn, so I'm not super worried about losing the game. Really would have liked to have drawn a land there. So I think we're just going to run out Arcanist here and then play Fabled Passage, fetch a Swamp. Maybe the play there was to Thoughtseize and then fetch with a Fabled Passage and Fatal Push the Arclight Phoenix there. Or the Crackling Drake that they might inevitably play this turn. It's hard to tell, like, which was actually better. Yep, you bet, boss. We're at 8. Now, the problem with taking so much early damage like this is that they don't have a long way to go. And they're going to say go. Interesting. Okay. Well, we're going to fetch for a swamp. Now you're going to kill my thing. Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter what we do with it. So we either get to K command here, or we're looking at Young Pyromancer Thoughtseize. I mean, I guess the longer we wait, the worse our Thoughtseizes are getting, but... Yeah, I think we'll K command here, and return Kroxa. Just to see what... Not hitting that third land was kind of awkward. Or not hitting another land there was kind of awkward. If that was their one of Ether Gust in the main, I'm pretty sure. So, graveyard, deal 2 damage to any target. Return target creature, deal 2. Blah, blah, blah. That should have been their one Ether Gust in the main here, so I don't think they have another one. Okay, that also works. Nope, we can't pay 2, but it does force you to tap out during your turn, basically, which I'm okay with. Well, I don't see this going well. I think we're just going to take Information Thoughtseize here on the way out. Curate. Any of them into your graveyard and the rest back on top of your library in any order. Interesting. Alright. I was like, if we ever hit an untapped land there, like, it's maybe a little bit of a different story. So, cards that seem good include Duress. I'm going to be honest, I really think Necromentia sounds good here. Yeah, Duress is pretty good. I don't really, like, the Soul Guide Lanterns are like, I don't know, like, I don't get super excited about those if I'm being honest. Cut a couple of Fatal Pushes. We don't want all of those. Thoughtseize seems really good against their Tempo deck. Cut Claim to Fame. I don't really feel like K Command does anything here. Bring in 2 Duress and bring in a couple Soul Guide Lanterns maybe? Yeah, let's try it like that. Yep, we'll go first. This hand seems good. We'll keep this. We'll lead on Citrus Supplier here. So there's nothing that they're gonna like play on turn 1 that's gonna make me wish I had made a different play. All right, so we got a Croxa. Aren't Magma Spray quite good? Yeah, so I go back and forth with that because I think Magma Spray could be good. And I'm not saying it's not by any means. Please don't misunderstand that. I simply land on not bringing a Magma Spray because it's not really good against. It's only good against 1/2 of their threats. So it might be worth bringing that in, but I don't know. So let's attack for 1 and see what they do. Okay, they take 1. Let's Thoughtseize them. Definitely going to take Saheeli. We're going to claim this. Yeah, I mean, nostalgia. It could be right to bring in magma sprays. Curate is an instant. All right, so apparently you can play Strixhaven on Moto tonight. I didn't think you could. I played a little bit of Rocket League earlier, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have played. I probably would have played 2 leagues of Pioneer or a Modern League and a Pioneer League tonight if I would have known that that was the case. So we're gonna attack here and see what happens. So let's play Claim to Fame here. Put Croxa into play. They discard Chart of Course. We're going to cast Croxa. We're going to cast Village Rites, sacking the Croxa. We're going to play this tapped. Our opponent is going to play... Our opponent inevitably is going to play Curate at the end of the turn here. Put any number of them into your graveyard. That's interesting. It's an interesting concept, that card. Pieces of the puzzle. Put 2 instant sorcery cards into your hand and put the rest into the graveyard. So this goes into the graveyard. These 2 were in their hand. These are the 4 cards we're looking at here. Puts Crackling Drake, Treasure Cruise, and Magma Spray into their graveyard. So they kept Chart a Course and Curate. Red Source doesn't seem bad. This allows us to play our Kroxa while they're tapped out here. We're going to keep Claim to Fame in our graveyard. Clutch Mountain. Yeah, that was a really good draw step, honestly, drawing that mountain. Curious to see what they discard. We know 4 of their cards. They're definitely going to keep Cruise and Gust. Discard Chart a Course. Okay. I've not played this match. This is the first time I've played this matchup. And it feels very interesting. Our opponent goes to 17 here. Last card in their hand's probably a land or something. Not really sure, but... yeah. Now they're going to play Cruise. And they say go, which means they're more than likely going to Kroxa. They're going to Gust Kroxa. We're just going to go ahead and do this now. Seems we're forcing them to play their Aether Gust now. Yep. Yeah, put that on top. We like that card. We don't really care about anger, so we're gonna take Opt here. The Crackling Drake we can beat. We have multiple ways to beat it. We're gonna say go here, and if they tap out to play if they play their land and play Crackling Drake, we're actually just gonna draw a card with the Castle Lochthwain here. So they played Mountain instead of their Pathway. That's interesting. People are really in the business of letting me know cards in their hand tonight. So we're going to draw a card, which is going to draw us into our Kroxa. Now, we do have to take 3 to do it, so it doesn't come for free, but we're going to 15 to put more cards into our hand, which I feel like is pretty good. Magma Spray? Okay. Not going to lie, probably would have waited and used the Magma Spray on the Kroxa. Like, I know that, like, I'm putting cards into, like, my graveyard that way, but... so, we're going to run it out. See what they discard here. I'm actually curious to see what they discard here. Anger of the Gods? Okay. I feel like that's a pretty smart discard. So we get to Fatal Push this because of Revolt. Now we get to play our Fabled Passage. We get to get a Mountain here. And we get to put Luris into our hand. So feels like we're in a pretty good spot here. I won't say commanding, but it feels like we're in a pretty good spot. This game could easily swing out of our favor here, but this is still pretty good for us. They're going to curate during their turn, which means they're going down the Is It Phoenix route. I can't. Our opponent puts opposite of their graveyard. Put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest back on top. I think they played the pathway. Outgrounding Treasure Cruise and pieces of the puzzle. I mean, honestly, though, like, that's like straight up what we're doing right here. So we get to cast Croxa here. I'm not going to lie, this feels like they don't have a removal spell. I could be wrong, but... Discard Spire Bluff Canal. So we're just going to try to jam on them and go for it here. Because, I mean, this is 5 lifelinking points here if this works. So... And it does. Wow. Right? Damage? I'm sorry, there's so much lag on my end right now. I don't know what's going on. So I think they played their pathway. Does anybody know, did they play their pathway? I think they did. Doesn't matter, they conceded, but I think they had played their pathway. All right, well, that was pretty sweet. So 2 Magma Spray or 2 Fatal Push, chat? What do you guys think? Which one, like, what's better? 2 Magma Spray or 2 Fatal Push here? Actually, I guess the real question is, if we're looking at these 6 cards, pick 4 of those 6 cards right there. Because I'm not really sure how that unfolds. I like Soul Guide Lantern, but I kind of don't like Soul Guide Lantern. Maybe I've misused it, but it's like burned me once or twice, so I'm not sure if it's that good. I'm guessing no matter which you side in, you will encounter the other threat. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. Let's see here. So let's actually trim a village rights in the interest of trying more sideboard slots here. And let's try my village rights. And we'll bring in 1 Magma Spray. Feels wrong, but we're going to try it. I'm interested to see what 1 Magma Spray. I really hope we just like get to get our opponent with 1 Magma Spray. Oh. Yeah, I'll keep this hand. I think Thoughtseize like really helps us play here. I don't like that we don't have a threat, but I like being able to Thoughtseize our opponent here and see what they're working with. Hopefully there's no Spell Pierce in our future. Second Thoughtseize is a good pickup. Oh, I thought it was Spell Pierce. I was like, wow. I was like, blowout. Puts 1 card on top of their library. So our second Thoughtseize can take Treasure Cruise, no doubt. But I think we're going to leave the Curate and take Ether Gust here. Well, I guess Ether Gust doesn't really stop things. It just puts something on the top or the bottom. So let's take Curate here. Wait. I'm not like, which is an interesting line of play. I'm gonna be honest. I don't entirely know how I feel about that, but it's. If you guys agree or disagree, tell me why. I'd be interested to know why. So we're just gonna run back out the Thoughtseize here. If our opponent drew another Ether Gust, which means we're definitely gonna take that. So I have 4 cards in hand, and these are their 4 cards. We're gonna play Blood Crypt tapped. We can eventually play around. I know literally nothing about Pioneer. I don't have much of opinion. I mean, all right, fair enough. I can respect the statement that like you don't have enough knowledge to contribute. Like honestly, like that is something that I wish more people in our society did. So yeah, I really really respect that statement honestly. All right, drawing more lands here isn't great, so we're gonna put Luris into our hand. Not that it's relevant in this format, but can you stifle putting companions into your hand? Does anybody know? No, you can't. Okay, interesting. All right, another land is not what we wanted to see. It doesn't use the stack. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to waste our Luris already, and it's not like they're gonna take it from our hand. So we're just gonna we're just gonna sit here for the moment. We have a removal spell in our hand, so kind of okay with just saying go for a bunch of turns, honestly. Like 2 Ether Gusts is like a little annoying, something to play around, but another land, all right. We'll just keep playing them and say go here. All right, so our opponent has ran out of lands or they've stopped playing them. So if they go to kill it, are we going to Ether Gust this? Okay. We're going to choose to put this on top. I mean, Ether Gust, like, sure is Time Walk, but at the same time, like, it also doesn't bother me to play this out. We are still making land drops and they're not, so. So they have Ether Gust and 4 random cards in their hand. Again, we're going to run it out here. If they gust again, we're going to put it on top again. Unsubstantiate? Okay. I'm okay with that one too. Play the black half of this and say go. So now we get to village rights this, which is really good. Even if they counter this here, which I mean we can pay for Spell Pierce, it's still really good to be able to draw cards that way. We're really just setting ourselves up to utilize. True at the Aether Gust was a Time Walk there, but so was your young Pyro. Yeah, I mean that's true. So they have Aether Gust and 2 unknowns in hand. I really like that Aether Gust only interacts with half of our deck, and I think like half is like it's probably less than half realistically. So we're gonna play Luris. We're gonna play Young Pyromancer. Not being able to Gus Luris is huge. Yeah, it absolutely is. Completely agree with you. It's really game changing to be in a situation where that's what we're doing. You're gonna pay to lightning axe this? Okay, we're gonna cast Village Rites again. Like there's no way for us to protect it here, so we might as well. Drawing 2 cards is good. Sadly, we have no way to turn on Young Pyromancer, but we're gonna try and. So we're gonna hold our other Stitcher supplier here. Um, Plus, we're letting them think that maybe we have something to play in response to the Pyromancer so that we can make a token. I don't think our opponent did that on purpose. This is my first time seeing a lightning axe be hard cast. I cast a lightning axe one time during Innistrad standard. It's not pretty. I have to say, like it is a sight I recommend avoiding if possible. Okay, so our opponent played their Spike-Filled Hazard on accident instead of instead of hitting us, which I kind of feel for our opponent because I've been there, and it's just you just get in a hurry. It's just all it is. All right, so red, red, black, black. Thoughtseize, Luris, Rights, Young Pyro, Thoughtseize, leave a Village Rights in the yard, and a Dreadhorde Arcanist. And the good news is even when they Ether Gust this, we're just going to put it on top. Um, it's not going to be enough cards to be able to replay our Croxa, but that would have been sweet if we could have ran that out there. So we no longer know the cards in their hand. They have one unknown card in hand. And we have 2 removal spells in hand, so if they do draw a threat here, it feels okay. Yeah, you got an Arclight Phoenix, dude. Bet. We can't interact now, so they do attack. That's interesting. I'm interested to see them attack there. Fabled Passage would be a good draw step here. I mean, I also feel pretty good about that one. Cast this with Kicker. We get to make a token. We're going to attack for 4. And then we're going to play our Swamp and play our Croxa here. Because hopefully the last card in their hand's a dud, but if it's something that actually matters and it's not an instant speed, we get to just get it right here. 3, 4. It's turn 10 and you haven't even missed 1 land drop. Yeah, wow, I hadn't even thought about that. I honestly hadn't even considered that. But yeah, I haven't actually. It's kind of interesting to have played this many turns and to have hit land drops consistently and not be like normally when we're hitting this many land drops, like it's a disaster. Like it's not good to draw this many lands. So it's interesting to be on the side of the deck where it's not bad. We got a match here. Would you guys play Miscalculation or Censor if you had access to both in Pioneer? I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna have to look up Miscalculation while we're sitting here. Oh wow, when you type in Miscalculation, that's what pops up. Wow, if you had access to that, or if you were forced to play, or playing Censor, the 1-mana cycling is good, but counter if you pay 2 is way better than 1. Yeah, I mean, 2, like, I don't know. Luris? So our opponent has Lurrus, which means they're playing creatures, but we don't have an untapped land here, which means we could just get run over, but we are on the draw. I think I would keep this and take. I think I'm gonna keep this and take my chances. I think I'd play miscalculation. Oh, it's a mirror. Oh, okay. Oh, we're gonna play our Dragon Skull Summit and say go. It's the mirror. I don't think I've ever played the mirror. Or no, I did play the mirror one time, but I thought seized my opponent to death. Young Pyromancer, sure. Why'd you draw an untapped land here so we can Fatal Push and Thought Seize? Alright, not drawing a land there is pretty rough. I figured in what? One draw step for the first turn. Yeah, I figured in 2 draw steps we'd hit a land. So I have Dimir Control IRL, and it's like the only deck I managed to use this year one time. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really a big control fan, but like I don't like I can play the decks like reasonably. I'm just not a huge fan of like what they do and what they're about. All right. So, yep. Let's Fatal Push this, and then we'll Thought Seize our opponent. Village Rites. It's pretty good. I mean, them getting to draw that many cards is really sweet. I'm definitely gonna Thought Seize them now. I enjoy that they don't get the token though. So, Cruel Mono Red and Mono Black aggro. His aggro piles. I think we take the Fatal Push here. I know that's like wildly aggressive, but I think taking the Fatal Push there is actually a really good play. Cruel, Mono Red, Mono Black aggro. Those are all decks that I really like to play. I think we'll pitch our Claim to Fame here. They have 2 lands and 2 unknowns in their hand, so or an unknown. So we're gonna play Village Rites here, or we're gonna play Stitcher Supplier. Put 3 cards in there. Hitting 2 more Fatal Pushes was not good. Like, if we find a Dreadhorde Arcanist, it's fine, but it's really not good because we really need to be able to play to kill their Kroxa on a more permanent basis. We need to have an answer to their Lurrus when they put it into play, and we need to have an answer to Kroxa. If we're playing your Kroxa, you got to start with red there, boss. Yep, there it is. So I'm going to cast this here, and sack this, and we're going to see what we draw before we discard a card. Wow, multiple Stitcher Suppliers, that's interesting. So this makes this okay to discard a Pyromancer here. Because going Pyromancer into Dreadbore is not bad. Our opponent's going to play probably his Blood Crypt tapped here, if I had to guess. Oh, he's Stepway. All right. Or pathway. Blight step pathway is what the words that I'm looking for. So play young Pyromancer. Dreadbore, red black. Make a token. And then being able to claim to fame, I mean, they might have a removal spell here, I don't know. But being able to claim to fame back something is going to be pretty good here. All right, and our opponent, Village Rights drawn full. This turn can go really well or really poorly for us, so feels like they're putting Luris into their hand. All right. Well, that's a pretty good turn. Kill that, make us discard Claim to Fame. Yep. Us missing those land drops earlier in the game has really just like hindered us all game. Putting Luris into your hand. Play Blood Crypt tapped. Or give us more information. I mean, like playing the land last turn to have Village Rights up made a lot of sense. All right, our opponent just didn't play out. Oh, they played the Urborg that turn. That's right. So we're going to put Luris into our hand. And then when they play Kroxa, we're going to pitch our... We're going to pitch... Or when they play Kroxa, we're going to pitch our Kroxa. And then that way we can actually put Kroxa into play as opposed to them having to discard it. As opposed to them just playing theirs every turn from the graveyard. Okay, Luris. Yep. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. One of them is a Blood Crypt. That's the 3rd Village Rights they've drawn. It's quite impressive. And by impressive, I really just mean annoying. They've just, like, I know that, like, we have more cards in the graveyard, but they've seen so many more cards than we have. 4 cards. Again, one of them's still a Blood Crypt. Red, red, black, black. We're going to get rid of Dragon Skull Summit, Fabled Passage, Fatal Push. No, we're going to leave Thoughtseize. We'll get a Stitcher Supplier and another Fatal Push because there's 2 in the yard. I mean, they probably have a Fatal Push here. They haven't played one. Yep. I mean, which ultimately is fine. Like, it's not a big ordeal there. They discard an Arcanist. Was Dreadhorde Arcanist in Time Spiral remastered? Huh. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that. So now they have land and Blood Crypt. And they can play their Kroxa permanently now. When they play their Kroxa, we're gonna discard our Swamp. We'd really like to be able to keep our lures if possible. Yeah, I mean, we're going to 6 here. So they're going to play the last card in their hand. Oh no, they're going to shock so they can play. They're actually going to get rid of both of our cards here. It's not something I thought about. Done that to people before. I should have thought about that. So now we're going to have to pitch both of our cards here, which is unfortunate. Oh, I have to click OK. Hopefully they don't have another Fatal Push or Blood Chief's Thirst in hand. Because we have more cards than them. We can go Croxa for Croxa here. We will be able to put ours back into play after the exchange, and they won't, so... Alright. We need their last card to not be removal, and we need their next card to not be removal. We're going to take 3 here off the Lurrus, so that next turn we can hopefully block the Pyromancer. I'm not going to lie, if we had an Arcanist, I'd actually go for that here. We haven't seen an Arcanist all game, though. Have we? Have we seen one? No, not a single one. Which is a little disappointing, but it's okay. We're going to get rid of a Claim to Fame, a Swamp, a Lurrus, a Stitcher Supplier, and a Thoughtseize, because Thoughtseize is going to be virtually worthless the rest of the game. So, alright. Let's hope that they don't draw a removal spell here, because whatever they're getting rid of is... They can't play it right now, so... Even if it is a Fatal Push, it doesn't matter. Alright, so they join us at 15. Or, they go to 15. We're not going to attack. We're going to hold out for blocks on the Pyromancer here. It's unfortunate that we have to discard our Claim to Fame. If we had played our land the turn before that, we would have been able to get more value off of that because we could have claimed our Pyromancer and then put Croxa into play, which would have been really good. Yep, that's pretty solid. It's guaranteed points off the Croxa if they attack. So we're discarding our Claim to Fame here, which is fine. It's not the end of the world, but... They can castle here if they see fit. It appears that's what they're going for. Oh, no, they're going to cast their Croxa. Well, we're definitely going to lose the game this way. Need to draw a removal spell for their Lurrus, like, now. Like, Blood Chief's Thirst off the top would be really good. They can put us to 9, and then they can attack and put us to 6. So they do think it's worth attacking here. Okay. Throw our Croxa in front of their Croxa. Alright, Blood Chief's Thirst, please. Dreadbore or something like that. Dreadhorde Arcanist would actually be okay. I think we need to put a Croxa into play to have a permanent blocker here. So we're going to get rid of Claim to Fame, Pyromancer, Village Rites. Fatal Push. Leave a Fatal Push in the yard. Interesting. Not gonna lie, I'm interested because they know they're gonna have to discard it, and they're probably thinking, well, 1 damage is less than is 3, but at the same time, I still, oh, like they got fortunate to hit a spell there, but if they hit a land, like it's just terrible. Like they just take 4. What was that activation? Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really understand that activation. I'm a little confused there. So think if they go to 12 off the Croxa, then they activate Castle into the turn, draw Stitcher Supplier, play Stitcher Supplier. Like they could have actually, I mean, they couldn't have killed us this turn, but it would have been pretty close. We discard our Croxa, which is fine. Perhaps it was just maximum BM from opponent. Yeah, I mean that's possible. Was Urborg in Time Spiral Remastered? What was it in Time Spiral Remastered? Feels like everything was. Good draw step, please. So we get to have 2 blockers this way, which means we can't die. So I mean, we're getting to put the pressure on here. Like our opponent discarding a Thoughtseize was fine. We get to, I mean, they take 9 here. Like it's very possible. I guess them pitching Thoughtseize just allows them to kill us here. Actually, I guess I wasn't. Yeah, then that and then blocking. Yeah, I played myself there. That was dumb. Um, us missing land drops early in the game was pretty bad. So I think we can chalk that one up to that. We have to have Soul Guide Lanterns for this matchup. Magma Spray is really good. Feed the Swarm is really good. Cards that do not seem great. This is a very grindy matchup. I really don't want Thoughtseize. K Command seems very medium. Like, sure, I get we can buy cards back, but I'm just not a huge fan of it. We'll trim a Village Rights and a Claim to Fame. Actually, I think we'd rather have these cards and only 2 Magma Sprays, if I'm being honest. I don't like Magma Spray. Like, can be bad. Like, it's bad against Dreadhorde Arcanist, and like you can snag. Um. Oh, excuse me. You can snag Croxa with it in a weird spot. So, God, we use so much of our clock. God, these grindy matchups like this are something else. I think we have to mulligan this. I'd like to keep. Oh my god, another one lander? Are we serious? I, again, I think we have to keep, like, or have to mulligan, I mean. So let's keep this. Let's put castle and claim on bottom. And we'll lead on the red side and Soul Guide Lantern and say go here. Oof. Yeah. Not gonna lie, our opponent kept 7, so we might lose off the back of just us mulliganing. Interesting. Our opponent kept Thoughtseize in. Actually, very intrigued by that. I think we'll just play this and say go. I'd like to hold on to. I'd like to be able to hold on to the Pyromancer here. Maybe try to get some value out of it next turn. Since we draw a land, we just need to draw a 1-mana spell here. Thought seems so mediocre in this matchup, but it's good when you mold a 5. Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, like that's kind of like the downside of our opponent. Like our opponent was rewarded. Like I firmly believe that you're not supposed to leave Thoughtseize in a grindy matchup, and our opponent was rewarded because of our mulliganing decisions. So I mean, yeah, I completely agree. Thoughtseize is not great in this matchup. So I think we need to use this now. I think we need to be able to keep our threats here. So that they don't get to Thoughtseize us again. I like it when I keep 6 lands in a search for tomorrow against Thoughtseize, especially the SCG events and search for tomorrow. So I actually know somebody who did that one time. I actually know somebody who did that. They literally kept 6 lands search for tomorrow and they peeled into like straight gas. It was insane. So the fact that you've done that is actually hilarious because like it was actually at an SCG event that person did that. So it feels like this game's basically over here. So if we play Arcanist, we have the ability to. Hey, ship it IRL with the Prime sub. Thanks, I appreciate it, buddy. There are oh Lord, sorry, I was thinking about what to do. There's a lot of great content creators out there that you could give that to every month, and I really appreciate it. I would be molding if I was the Thoughtseize player. Claim Croxa. That's not good. And then I imagine it's probably attack Magma Spray or Pyromancer since we have nothing to do. Wow, our opponent's hand was pretty good for the mirror. Because even like drawing a Croxa here is like not great. Oh man. Not gonna lie, it feels like we should just pack it in here. Magma Spray our young Pyromancer. I mean, the good news is that we do get to throw our... Well, so... If he has another Magma Spray in his hand... Yeah, I don't think it's worth, actually. Yeah, I'm going to take one here. I think 1 point is definitely worth keeping our Arcanist around over, like, an extra Magma Spray. That would just be a blowout. Is this Dreadbore? Another Dreadhorde Arcanist? Another Soul Guide Lantern would actually be moderately okay, just because it would keep us out of Kroxa. Yeah, we're just gonna concede here. This game's over. So to get away with only spending, that's not bad. And I can reasonably justify it because I never buy Magic cards because I never play Paper Magic. So, all right, we're on the draw here. This hand's good. We're gonna keep this. The Blood Crypts make this playable. Our opponent has no companion. Depending on what they do, we'll probably lead on Thoughtseize, honestly. Watery Grave, blue-black control, maybe. I'm going to be honest. All right, Croaks is a good draw. I think, like, the one thing that we're really not looking for here is, like, more lands. Having 4 lands in our opening hands kind of, like, puts us in that place. What is Behold the Multiverse? Is that Foretell card? Yeah, we're going to take... We're going to take... Man, I think I'm... Well... No, I'm going to take the Behold the Multiverse here. I'm okay with them having a counterspell, but them getting to essentially them getting to scry 2 and draw 2 in a couple turns for free is really bad for us. So they play Island and say go. We're going to play Kroxa here. Get a card out of their hand. And then we actually get to fill up next turn. We get to fill up our graveyard at least to be able to put... they discard Fabled Passage. Okay. So Citrus Supplier helps us fill up our graveyard. And depending on what we do next turn, we might have, like, honestly, a sweet draw would be Thoughtseize so that we could go Young Pyromancer Thoughtseize. Because if that's the case, I'd really like to take their Gear Hulk here. Because we can beat a single removal spell, but it's tough to beat. We can Dreadbore the Gear Hulk later, but I'd also really like to... So we're going to play Citrus Supplier. And we're going to run out Young Pyromancer to give them something to kill here. Let them Heartless Act our Pyromancer, which is great. It's exactly what we wanted. Do you cast when you escape things? I think escape says you may cast them. So they have 2 unknown cards in their hand. So there's 2 trains of thought here. The first train of thought is, oh, let's play this smart. Let's play Thoughtseize and put Lurrus into our hand, and the next turn we can put Kroxa into play basically safely. Or the other play is to slam Kroxa because we don't respect our opponent in any way. So in the interest of good spirit, because I'm actually trying to test for a tournament, I'm gonna Thoughtseize here. Normally I would just jam. Wow, holy God, that's fantastic. If that's their hand, sweet. So we could have just jammed Croaks and got away with it there, but I still think we made the correct play by doing this. The funny part is now by doing that, we might actually just get blown out. They play Island, so now they have 2 unknown cards in their hand. So this is pretty cool. We get to attack, we get to play our Stitcher Supplier, and then we get to play Croxa. That way we have more cards to work with so that we're making more informed decisions. Ooh, another Croxa. Yes, we'll shock. Black, black, red, red. We're going to get rid of land. I don't think we want the Blood Chief's Thirst, but you never know. We're going to get rid of a Thoughtseize, a Pyromancer, and... yeah, I guess the Blood Chief's Thirst. We have a removal spell on our hand, so I don't see us needing another one. I know I clicked those technically in the wrong order, but... alright. Our opponent discards a Swamp. They didn't have a counter spell. Our opponent scries 2 at the end of our turn, which feels pretty good, I won't lie. What are you laughing at?
Joseph said that he said I seemed like someone who would have clammy hands, and I said, wow, that's hurtful. What'd you say, Joseph?
Alright, our opponent puts 1 card on top, 1 card on bottom.
What did you say?
Opponent has 1 card in hand. I mean, we're gonna attack here. We're gonna play and see what they do here. Dig through time. Okay. They could find Vraska's Contempt here. I know that they play some number of. I know they play like Shadow's Verdict and stuff like that, so I feel like there might have been some reason for them to have. I think some lists play like Extinction Event in the main.
Because I think that there's an inflection there.
I feel like that. I feel like that could have came during their main phase, honestly. Our opponent took opt off of that, so that's good. Puts 1 card on the bottom.
Because in my head, that's how it sounds.
They're paying more costs. Another opt. Okay. Puts 1 card on the bottom. Has conceded from the game. Alright, cool. So, against blue-black control, we're going to take Duress. We're going to bring in Necromentia, and we're going to bring in K-Command as grindy cards. Cards that do not seem good include Fatal Push. Fatal Push does not seem great. Shark Typhoon presents somewhat of a problem, so we're going to leave in 1 Thirst and 1 Fatal Push, and we're going to leave in 1 Dreadbore. Just as like that way we have 3 around the board removal spells to help us like get rid of big sharks or deal with late game torrential gear hulks if we need to. So there are things we have to play around and respect here. So. I feel like this hand could be better, but I think it's safe to try this because we have Pyromancer on 2 into Croxa with Village Rites, which feels pretty good to me. So I like the way that looks. Also, drawing duress on turn 1 is never bad, so we take those. We're definitely gonna take Shadow's Verdict. Censor kind of sucks, but it's not like it's the end of the world. So, yeah, puts 1 card on the bottom. So they have 6 cards in hand. We know 4 of them. They play their Pathway, which means we're playing into Censor here. Drawing a Dreadbore is actually not bad backup. We're just going to go ahead and let them censor this. It's not like it really matters in any way, so fortunately we're letting our opponent use their mana, but I also need to be able to make sure, that there's no censor next turn for our Village Rights on our Kroxa, so it's kind of the good with the bad. Our opponent plays Island. All right. Play red. Go red-black for Kroxa. Pick the correct order this way so that they're forced to discard, and then we can Village Rights. I think even after board, they only... Alright, so now we know none of the cards in their hand. I think the blue-black control deck only plays 3 Shadows Verdicts after sideboard, so Thoughtseize is a good pickup. That allows us to play Young Pyromancer into Thoughtseize. Our opponent opts to the bottom, draws a card. Feels like our opponent's not far off of Dig Through Time, which is a scary thought, so... Plays Castle Ventress and says go. Alright. Stitcher Supplier is pretty good. We're going to lead on Pyromancer. This way, if they don't counter it, we get a token. We're going to play Thoughtseize. Always yield to the Pyromancer trigger. They're going to kill it on response. Actually, they're going to behold the multiverse in response. So their hand is hot trash. They scry 2 cards to the bottom and then draw 2 cards, and now we're going to get to Thoughtseize them. Yep, Extinction Event's fine. I can beat a Fatal Push. Now we're going to play Stitcher Supplier. Turns on Kroxa, so now we're trying to... Now we have to just beat Shadow's Verdict off the top if they draw one, so... Yep, there's that Fatal Push. There's Field of Ruin. They have an Island and an Unknown in their hand. So Thoughtseize just clears the way here, doesn't it? Yep. I mean, we do play 7 duress effects after... We play 7 duress, like, Thoughtseize effects. So what do they make it 2/2? Okay. Okay. Yep, we're done here. We're going to put Croaks into play. They don't have a counterspell. We know they can't do anything about it. We're just going to go ahead. Land, duress, Thoughtseize, rights, duress. Leave creatures in the graveyard for Lurrus later in the game. Plus, we're leaving some spells in the graveyard to be able to allow, like, which gives us play from our graveyard in case we draw an Arcanist. Our opponent discards the island, and we're just going to say go here. Next turn, we can Dreadboard that if we need to get it out of the way. All right. I mean, you're gonna cycle the fetid pools now, right? Because if you do that, Extinction Event is really good. All right. I, mm, I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of just at a loss here for our opponent's plays. We're gonna fire. We're just gonna go ahead and run out this Dreadbore. Normally, I like to save Dreadbore for something later in the game, but it's so they didn't cycle it. They didn't do anything. They just discarded it. I can't say that I understand the thought process there. Our opponent's at 3. Okay, they wanted to scry 2. All right. Well, I mean that at least does puts 2 cards on top of their library. Ooh, maybe we have a game. I mean, feels not likely. Shadow's Verdict would be good for them here, but Shadow's Verdict is a good one. It's also a good reason for us to have held our Stitcher Supplier there. They did put 2 cards on top, so they have another top coming after this, which is interesting. Croxa would be sweet right here. So this is sweet here. So we're going to Stitcher Supplier. Then we're going to, man, hitting Croxa would have been sweet right there too. So then during their draw step, we're going to hit them for 2 and make them discard, so that if they don't have instant speed interaction, we're just getting to kill them. Do 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 do. Choose target player. Discard at their draw step. Oh yeah. If they kept a sorcery here, then ooh, all right, they kept. All right, I guess technically opt is more cards. Puts 1 card on top of their library. Is it a counterspell? We filled of ruining something. Okay. I'm actually gonna get a mountain here. Just a counterspell? Just sabotage? Sabotage off the top? Cycle a Shark Typhoon. Dig through time here. Okay. I mean, dig through time only does so much because they're getting 2 cards, one of which they have to discard, and unless I'm missing something here, they're gonna go to 1 and then still die. Like, all right, cool. Our opponent concedes. So, all right, I'm gonna get rid of this window here. I hate that extra window that pops up. All right, so we went 4-1 with the deck. I mean, the deck felt again like extremely grindy and consistent. Like it's one of those like tempo-y aggro decks that can like turn the corner really quick, and Croxa really helps with that. I'm gonna be honest. I like the deck feels great. I've really enjoyed the deck. Um, yeah, it's felt great both times. I've played it twice and I'm 8-2, and I know that's a small sample size, but it felt really good. I'm gonna play it this weekend. Hopefully it goes well. But yeah. All right. Well, this was Rakdos. This was Rakdos Pyromancer tonight. Thanks for coming and hanging out tonight. I appreciate it. I think some of our friends are playing Call of Duty right now, playing Cold War. So we're gonna take about a 5-minute break here. When we come back, we're gonna be playing some Cold War. So thanks for hanging out tonight, guys.